Hey, what's going on? I'm Automatic. Yeah, third strike, right? What is that? What's going on here? You know, I figured, not just because I like the game and it's fun for me to kind of go back and research it, but with TFC coming and rumors about an anniversary collection or 30th anniversary collection, and maybe it's going to include Third Strike, and man, that would be sick if Third Strike was on Steam with a good net code. When I hear good things about Tekken 7 and Guilty Gear on Steam, man, to have this on that same platform. I mean, of course, I'm spoiled because I have an arcade. I have 2 arcades in North Carolina that have real versus City cabs and head-to-head Third Strike. But anyways, what I'm trying to talk about here is the applying that same research and that experience back to what you know used to be something that I loved in Third Strike. We didn't really know how to do this, or at least we had an idea, but calculating it precisely, and even now I don't really know. I don't have the data, like hard data, but I know how to discover it. And there's a lot of interesting things about Third Strike that really I didn't know back then, the things that I know now. For example, I was researching today on stream with the Meat Squasher knockdown against Chun-Li. If I do a normal jump, nothing, right? So if I do a super jump, I will be able to meteor, but I can't meteor with my normals. I have to use a splash. And my splash can hit super. It's later than my other normals, but not in a way that because it's faster, but it just hits lower to the ground, and when you activate it, it forces it to hit. You can't, well, maybe if you do it really late, you can probably whip a splash. But to me, there's 2 different ways to do splash. You can just do it in the air and it stays active the whole time. But if you do it like this, it's not going to hit a crouching opponent. Or you can do it really, really late. And it's going to hit deep, deep. But that scenario tells me that since I'm hitting my splash deeply, that's around the time that they are on the ground. Whatever my jump, whatever that total frame is, and then whatever using a late splash is, that's around when that knockdown is. So, that's going to line up with how Chun-Li gets up off the ground. So characters who are not Chun-Li and quick stand, they're all going to, Chun-Li gets up the slowest, so they're all going to get up slower than her. So against them, I might be able to use that roundhouse, or maybe a normal jump. So it's just going to vary depending on what the character is and their quick stand. So this is assuming that my opponent is quick standing. But if they don't quick stand, then I have to go into something else, right? Because that's going to whiff. And then I want to see where I'm at. If I do a splash in the same scenario. So if I do this into a jab clap, it should be able to whiff. Now look at that. I did a jab clap and it was able to whiff. So now if I go further down the line, I get an even better sense. So now I know if I do a late splash, a jab clap, that'll cover their quick stand, but it won't cover their non-quick stand. So I wanna do something like medium punch palm. And I'm using the palms themselves because they are so insanely good on block. If they parry it and I have 720, if you're really on point, you can react, and 720, there's nothing they can do about it. So that means they have to block the clap, which means they're putting themselves in block stun, and then you can do things with mix-ups, ultra throw, meat squasher, and then put them reset the scenario, right? So now I know if I do this into the medium punch, wow, even the medium punch clap is too early. I have to do hard punch clap. Ooh, that's even better. Wow, so that tells me my hard punch clap is the best thing to do, right? Or medium punch clap is probably still good too. If that's still within the range, I can just wait a little bit and that's fine. I can still time my meaty just fine. So maybe medium punch clap is still good. But now that we have this scenario, now that we have a Meat Squasher, right? We gotta understand why Meat Squasher works. And that's a whole nother story. Right now I just want to go over these knockdowns and like the alternatives. So if that splash hits, for example, or if my opponent blocks it, I have advantage. And if they don't get off the ground, I can do clap, I'll have advantage. But if I do the splash and then I do an ultra throw, I can then do a late jab clap and then backbreaker them. This is going to increase my damage by 12 or so, 47 to 35. I increase it by 12. I'm going to do a little bit more stun. And this knockdown is also good. Normally the shoot down backbreaker in the mid-range, you're not going to be able to follow up with much. Maybe with Chun-Li, you can get a taunt in. You can get a taunt. Hugo's taunt will do extra, it'll give him defense. If you do 4, it'll be like double defense or something close to that. So again, Chun-Li's on the ground for quite a bit. So maybe against her I can get a taunt, but in the corner, I'm now increasing my damage, and I don't have to do anything like dash up. I'm already close to her. So then, I have just a regular jump will work in the same scenario. Where I did a super jump, now I can do a normal jump because that's going to be less time that I'm consuming. So just to demonstrate the whole thing, I'm going to do a meat squasher, and then I'm going to do a super jump and then splash. That's going to hit her. I'm going to reset her, jab claps into the shoot down backbreaker. And you got to do some timing on it. I don't want her to be stunned, but we'll do it again just so you get a better idea of how this looks. So we're in that same situation, jab clap, shoot down backbreaker, just a normal jump now. Now my splash behaves the same way as it did when I super jumped with the meat squasher. So I can do the exact same thing. I can do the exact same thing with the splash. Now my opponent might get clever and want to parry my jump. Since this is acting as something as a meaty, they might want to forward parry. But if I empty jump and then they forward parry, then I'll ultra throw them, then I'll 360 them, then I'll 720 them. So there's a lot of interesting exchanges that can happen, even with applying this new how do you say, analytical approach with data and knowing how frame kills work. There's still responses for your opponent, and when you look at the risk reward with how I got that meat squasher in the first place and how difficult it is to hit Chun-Li in the neutral game with Hugo, it's like, you know, there's always an answer. There's always some kind of way to interact with your opponent, and it's something that's not easy to do either. It's not given to you. But yeah, those are the two knockdowns that I wanted to go over and just kind of generally start getting back into the groove of talking about Third Strike in a laboratory sense. Is that a good way to say it? Not really. But I will be doing more Third Strike content with streaming and doing these kinds of videos. Again, TFC is coming up. 3 Japanese players and maybe 4 that I know of. Kokujin, that's already crazy. Kokujin is coming to North Carolina to play Third Strike. Yakun and Issei and Yakun. It's crazy. TFC, it's gonna be crazy. And then with the anniversary rumors, I think it'd be a good idea to get back into it and really start talking about Third Strike again, and not just talking about it, not just saying, oh, it was such a good game, but like understanding why, trying to teach people what is enjoyable about it. And of course you can enjoy it and not like it, that's totally fine too. But I'm here for the subjective and trying to inform and doing my best, doing my absolute best to put that information out there and help guide people and enjoy the experience more and appreciate it. So, like, comment, give me a subscription, let me know what you guys think below, and I'll be streaming Street Fighter V and Third Strike and anything else that I feel like playing on twitch.tv/automatic. I hope we learned something. I'm Automatic.